It's December 2021, and we gotta talk about what's going on in the last metagame of the month. Make sure you guys touch the crap and subscribe, and you guys don't miss out more awesome content. What's going on in the metagame this month? Well, you've probably seen a whole bunch of these regional reports here. The last set of the year is right around the corner here. I'm looking at you, Brothers of Legend. We get Utopia in that set. Oh my gosh, I know all 5 Utopia combo players are going to be excited for that one, because you just died in Nibiru. Good luck with that. Water Control finally gets a chance to come in. A little bit late, by the way. The OCG had that before Soul existed over there. Okay, well, that's good, right? So we have 2 viable rogue strategies. We get nice little Starlight Dragoon, but do those have any sort of impact on what we've been seeing here? General regional data across the board is telling me the same thing here, ladies and gentlemen. Sword Soul sucks, Sword Soul's good. Wait a minute. How can you have 2 conflicting different opinions on a deck? Well, here's what the general consensus across, I've seen so far. Sword Soul inherently is a very fair deck. I don't need to really say that to you guys. I think most players will kind of get the gist out of that having played the deck, alright? The deck just feels fair, alright? Especially if you have to normal summon Ecclesia, you get Ash. I always use that example because that's how it works, ladies and gentlemen. That choke point stings a lot. Token Collector, nobody cares about Token Collector. Dark Ruler. The format has shifted to the point of, Ash is kind of bad right now. Nibiru's in, ladies and gentlemen. These board breaker cards, these huge, amazing cards that break these boards in, allow you to play the game without giving any sort of crap what your opponent does. That's what we've shifted to, leaving November into December here. But once again, I got to give that nod to, well, Water Control is going to be here. You know, Nibiru is going to be a viable deck, and Utopia will be a viable deck in the tier 2 to 3 category. Right? The players will mess around with these. I don't think they're generally crazy enough to push the level away from that board breaking potential that we're already seeing here, because F-Zero doesn't do anything. Like, if Kraken Control ends on an F-Zero, Dark Row No More just stares at them and goes, oh, yay, like, what am I supposed to do? So, right now, I've played around with Sword Soul. The general consensus from my comment section tells me that a lot of people don't know how to play that deck, and it really hurts me. Maining Nibiru, that Maining Nibiru comment really has stuck with me. Why are you playing Nibiru in a going first deck? Guys, we're in a format right now where hand traps have to be timed perfectly, or, you know, you decide them out. Like, that's just how this is right now. All right? People need to understand that when you shift away from that super heavy hand trap impact format, that doesn't mean that hand traps aren't seeing play right now. It's not what that means. It's just, right now, the boards that people are setting up are very intimidating. A good example of a board that just makes you want to cry is whatever Lyricalisk and or the Tri-Brigade deck, because the Lyricalisk package produces like Ensemble Robin. They have a Zeus toolbox they have access to. They have access to Samorg, Barrier Statue, and or Apex Avian, whichever one that they want to produce for that board. Now, that's a scary deck. The thing is, the more pure variant of that deck, which is just literally level 1 spam turbo go, where you produce the Ensemble Robin and all this other stuff. Well, the biggest ways to beat that deck are, well, Dark Ruler No More. And unironically, Baguska, actually. Baguska's freaking hilarious in that matchup. Don't take my word on that, though, because evidently I don't know anything, according to some people in my comment section. So, once again, I keep... Everybody's like, oh my god, you referenced Dark Ruler No More. What if you don't draw? You probably lose. Like, a 4-bounce Ensemble Robin with an Apex Avian protection isn't a fun time for anybody, alright? Like, I guess you also have Raigeki. So, here's the thing right now. Raigeki right now, as a board break card, is actually absurd. You're like, well, wait a minute. Like, I'd rather just play Lightning Storm. Raigeki doesn't care about defense position, ladies and gentlemen. A few people have kind of been discovering right now that Raigeki Dark Hole are absolutely absurd power cards, man. Like, those board break, once again, we come back to the same theme here. Board break. Alright, between the constant debate right now of, oh my god, is Sword Soul a good deck or not? You've seen some regionals where there's been one Sword Soul deck. You've seen some where it's like 4, 5 in top cut, alright? It really depends on that meta. And then you've got Tri-Lyricalisk ending up is the, I would say, Tri and Sword Soul feel like the 2 best decks in the room by a long shot, alright? And that's, I think, Tri without the Lyricalist package feels a little bit inferior to the Bird Up package. So I think that those two are still very much your clear runners out here for the format. And of course, your other top contenders, you've still got Dragon Link. Dragon Link is still here, ladies and gentlemen. It's not going anywhere. Alright, it still remains just like a top contender right now because the deck is still good. Alright, it still sits up these boards. I read a comment the other day. It was like, well, I don't understand how Dragon Link's still good. Well, that's the problem. You haven't played against a good Dragon Link player. I would say the deck requires a very high skill level and a very good player. And you cross those lines and you get those things, it's a good deck. Now, what about Invoked right now and Sky Striker? Because I know a lot of you guys saw a lot of Sky Striker representation, all right? Like, Sky Striker's been kind of bumping up a little bit here with Destroy Phoenix Enforcer. Some events it just doesn't top. Some events it tops. I actually still think that Sky Striker is one of your better rogue contenders at the moment. Robbie, you didn't say it's meta. There's a difference between, like, being as good and as adaptable as Sword Soul and being as absurdly good as the Lyricalisk Tri-Brigade deck, that those decks just have the mild consistency slightly ahead of what we can produce right now with Sky Striker. But that's not to say that Striker is necessarily a bad deck. It just feels like everything else is better. So, top 3 so far, we already know. Now, what about Drytron? I think Drytron's still top 4. Alright? Drytron is just a worse version of all the other top decks in the format. They didn't gain anything out of the ban list, or they didn't gain anything out of the recent set rotation, which means that a lot of people that have chose to just stick with these strategies are doing just that. Like, they didn't get any fancy new coats of paint to make players want to explore these options, and that's kind of where the deck falls off at the moment. It's the same thing that we said last month, alright? Drytron just is a reskinned version of something like Lyricalisk with a slightly less powerful board. That's all it is, alright? And I wish I could justify and say, oh yeah, Drytron literally cut the whole Dragoon package. They're playing Destroy Phoenix Enforcer now. That was their fresh coat of paint for this set, if you really want to consider that, because I know some people are still playing Dragoon because a lot of players just deem that better. So, it's 4 top decks in the format. And then you make the argument, Sky Striker can go here, Virtual World can go here. But the big one here is, Invoked DP showed up for one big event. One big online event. And then it topped once out of, like 3 regionals? No, it's not bad. Winda, Makaba, the whole kit and kabang. It's good. It is. Once again, I think it's just, it sits back at the rogue table. It does its thing at this point in time. I don't think that's a bad thing. But going forward here, you're like, oh, so Robbie, what do I need to know about this format? What's the TLDR here? Big boards is the format, ladies and gentlemen. Baron, Cheeseout are big prime examples of this. Ensemble Robin with Samorg, things like this. Breaking those boards and overcoming those strategies is the theme of this format. And if you can find a way to do that successfully without, hurting your own strategy or anything like that, then that's good. Then you'll be able to compete. But this format thrives off of hand trap interruptions, but hand trap interruptions aren't enough to stop it. That's why we look to the board break options to clean up the issues once they've already been established. So, once again, I say welcome to the era of, is Sword Soul good or bad? Because it depends, ladies and gentlemen. It depends how you open. The deck is very fragile, but man, oh man, when it goes, it loses to Dark Ruler no more. That's all I got to say about this format. So please, I know there's a lot of wishy-washy opinions in there, but that's really just how the format is right now, all right? Like, it's very back and forth, and, like, considering the fact that Sword Soul is just so fair, fragile, it's really weird. If you ever get the chance to play Sword Soul, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So, guys, please leave a comment about what you guys think. Smash the subscribe button, subscribe button, so you guys don't miss some more awesome content. I'll see your beautiful face back here later and do some more cool, awesome content. Peace out, guys. Thank you, patrons, for making the ride never truly end. Without you guys' support, well, I would probably be doing Truffle Shuffle videos for a living. Guys, please check out Vanquill40 for all of your Cardfight Vanguard content brought to you by Vanquill40. And if you are looking to pick up singles, check out McCoolGames.com for your trading card game needs. Thanks for watching, everybody.